Today we are going to meet Bollywood film director Milind Ukey. We will talk with him about why spirituality is required for those people who are working in the film industry. Milind sir, welcome to our channel Bollywood and Spirituality. First of all, I want to ask you, why do you think that spirituality is required for those people who are working in the film industry? And how does spirituality help you to strive in the film industry?
Basically, spirituality is required for every human being because the kind of uncertainty, suffering that one goes through requires the answers that why this life and where is this life and where the happiness lies. But in film industry, you require the spirituality double-fold, triple-fold or many-folds probably, because in film industry, the life is even more uncertain. The opportunities are even more uncertain. And the life is tough here, very competitive, and we don't know where the course of the life will take here. So, in fact, a time comes in film industry when you are working and your questions are not answered by the knowledge that you have, the experience that you have, or even the people around you cannot answer those questions about why such life in film industry at some point of a time. Everybody sees the low time here, bad times here, and then if your answers are not found, then either people tend to destroy themselves or leave this industry, but they remain miserable. So the question is that in film industry, you require a spirituality more than anybody else. So this is the where the point begins, and that is probably the reason why I am into this philosophy and finding most of the answers to my problems and the way to the happiness and victory in my life.
So what kind of philosophy is the right kind of philosophy to follow in our life?
As a filmmaker, what kind of, for the individual or filmmaker, what kind of philosophy one requires? If you look around, our problems are real, and whatever you want to achieve in our life is a concrete reality. So the philosophy, the spirituality should also have the base in the reality. If anything comes from some kind of a fictitious god or imaginary theories and concepts, or talk of another land, some pure land, some kind of heaven and some kind of hell, is not really going to help to solve my practical problems, to make me happy, to really make people happy around me. So the question is that I must look for the spirituality, the philosophy which is very near to the reality, which understands and converts the reality in our favor, in a positive way, in a way that will create happiness for us and solve our problems. So such one philosophy, one stream of knowledge which has always helped the mankind all the centuries is a science, because science doesn't go by any fictitious kind of entities or supernatural way of looking at the things. It looks at a very realistic way, the world around us, the world inside us, try to study it and utilize that knowledge to improve our life, find the solutions to our problems. So that is how the science works. So the philosophy also should be able to work in the same way the way science works, to understand the reality of the world around us, the world inside us in a realistic fashion, so that we find the realistic solutions to all our problems and make us safe and happy. So when you go to the many philosophies and religious philosophy, the many has their center around some fictitious god, such a fictitious kind of a concept on another pure land of a heaven and hell. So this philosophy, in my way, doesn't bring the practical solutions, the solutions to our problem. So spirituality, which is very, very close to the science, then we are able to connect our real problem with that spirituality, that philosophy, which will in turn will find the right solutions correct solutions for us. So such philosophy is the need of the hour, need for every person, and for a filmmaker even more we require to become good human being and a good effective filmmaker.
There are many sects in Buddhism. For example, there is Mahayana, Hinayana, etc., etc. So why do you think that this particular spiritual practice of Lotus Sutra is required, and why it should be preferred?
As I told that the philosophy should be based on the realities of the life, reality of what we are going through, realities of the world around you, and it should be very near to the science, because that's the best stream of knowledge. Lotus Sutra, the philosophy of Buddha, which is interpreted by the Japanese monk Nichiren Daishin in 13th century, is the philosophy which talks about the reality of the life. Try to understand it based on the principle called the law of cause and effect. The entire science is based on one simple principle, that is the law of cause and effect. It means that anything which happens in this world, in this universe, inside us, is certain causes. Because of the causes, the effect comes, or any effect that occurs in the world must be having the causes behind. So it is very real and concrete reason why the things, why the phenomena in this universe happen. There is no fictitious way, there is no supernatural supernatural backgrounds or reasons behind why the things happen in this world, or any divine kind of a thing. Is a very concrete thing. We know that why rain falls, because of the clouds, and why the clouds are formed, because there is a heat which evaporates from the, which creates the evaporation from the water. So there is a cycle of everything. So there is, and then somebody will say, no, who created the cloud and who created the earth? Then you go back to the Big Bang theory and to where all the universe has started. And before the big, what was a Big Bang is a question we'll find some other point of a time. So at the moment we know at least the origin of this earth, in the origin of this universe and the life on is that around 14 billion years. That much answer we have found. So far nobody has found this answer. So what happened before that we'll find little more, usually after some more years. So but that's the right way to find out. The science is the right way to find it out, the answers. So the idea is that the entire science has found such an amazing answer. Because of those answers, today we have the medical science, we can cure ourselves, and we have so many facilities and so many wonderful life all around us. So if the philosophy is also based on the principles of the science, then how much more better solutions we can find in our life, how much better life we can make for ourselves and people around us, the world around us. That is the principle of this philosophy, the law of cause and effect, which is seen as the science, which is also based on the law of cause and effect. So like E is equal to mc square, or Newton's law, or any law in the science is known as the law of cause and effect. So beyond this principle, there is no other principle which exists in this universe. One can try and find out that there may be a numerous amount of laws, but all laws are finally into one single law, that is a law of cause and effect. So if the philosophy is based on scientific principle like the law of cause and effect, then it will not go wrong, because it is real. So your problems will also be solved in a real fashion, and the reality of your life in terms of health, in terms of finances, in terms of career, in terms of happiness, in terms of relationship, will be solved in a realistic fashion and not in an imaginary fashion or something fictitious way. So this is the reason why this philosophy of Buddhism, which is based on the Lotus Sutra, the law of cause and effect, which in Japanese means Namyoho Renge Kyo. So we try to connect through this philosophy to the nature, and that is how we try to improve. So the philosophy should be based on the scientific principle. That only will work, nothing else will work.
How does this philosophy work?
This practice of Lotus Sutra, Nichiren Daisen Buddhism, basically works on the three fronts. First is to chant this phrase of the law itself, the Namyo Renge Kyo, the law of cause and effect. So first thing is to invest your time, energy and consciousness into reciting this law. And it is not a mere recitation, that it is actually by reciting you are actually connecting yourself with the nature. Okay, that is the thing. When you say Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, say that I am grateful to this. The law is the way to connect with the nature. That is the first practice. Second practice, to study the various concepts of this philosophy, which explains how the mind functions, how the life functions, why there is a suffering, how to achieve the happiness, how to convert poison into medicine, what are the different worlds of existence, what are the different level of consciousness which exist in our mind. So these are the various kind of DE philosophy which is to be understood by studying it. So this is the second part of it. And the third part of this thing is the spreading this law, this philosophy to make others happy. Unless others are happy, your environment happy, your people around you are happy, you cannot be happy. May whatever you think for yourself, you cannot be happy. So this is the third. So there are the three pillars by which this philosophy has to be practiced in his life. Now how does it work? Why in the first place just mere chanting, just mere reciting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo? Why the changes will happen in your life? It will happen in your life because the life has a provision, some kind of a provision made for the corrections. So if you look at the evolution, it started from the one DNA molecule into amoeba, into the multicellular, and then the fish and frogs and mammals and the monkeys and then the prehistoric humans, Homo sapiens, and then finally this man, what we are today after many thousands of years of evolution. So if you look at it, that the life force or the law which is embedded in the life is constantly improving it. It is trying to make it survive in a better fashions, in the improved fashions. If you look at from the amoeba till today, the multicellular evolved human being like us, so it is going to be even much better. Even into the higher human beings, maybe superhuman beings will be evolved out of this process if it is going to go this way. The idea is that what is happening now is that it means that the improvement to overcome the weaknesses, to reduce the suffering and pain is already embedded into this life. Only we don't know, because we, through our wrong thinking or wrong circumstances which is created by us and some foolish people around us, or foolish systems or foolish education systems have created, we think that we only are capable of creating the problem for ourselves or solving them. It is not like that. There are the solutions embedded in the nature. That is how the science has decided. Like when we fall ill, we do not try to cure ourselves by ourselves. We try to find the medicine in the nature. And we find those plants and the medicinal plant, and then we cure ourselves. When you are thirsty, you will not automatically get cured. You have to look for the water outside, which when you take, then your thirst is satisfied. Similar way, there are so many problems which we think that I will solve because it is between me or myself or me and this person or me or that person, but that solutions are originally embedded in the life itself, the nature itself. And if we can find it out, then our solutions will be much better, much natural, most effective in fact. So by chanting Namyo Renge Kyo, what we are trying to do is connecting with the nature. We are communicating with the nature to download the better solutions to our problems. So like the internet, like the laptop has its own capacity to function well. It gives a good solutions, but when it gets stuck in terms of lack of updates or the virus problem or any kind of problem, we have to connect back to the motherboard or the mother program through the internet, and then we download and we correct the same way. When this laptop, our body and mind has its own become shortcoming or injuries or some kind of problems, weaknesses, defaults, all this can be corrected only when we connect ourselves with the motherboard. And what is our motherboard? Is the nature from where we have been created, the life itself. So we have to connect back to the life. And the way to connect to the life is the same principle by what we have been created from the nature. So the law of cause and effect is the law by which we have been created. The life is created. So we have to follow the same principle to connect back and download solutions for us, which will find the right kind of a life kind of a solutions, right kind of a way for us to solve our problems and become happy, victorious, wisdomful, courageous in our life, fearless in our life. So Namyo Rengekyo, when you chant, what you are giving back to the nature? Your time, what you have your own, the energy and the consciousness. These three valuable treasures you invest for those 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour of chanting in the nature. Naturally, nature will respond to you. Why? Because nature only has created you and it wants its creation to be protected, to be happy. So naturally when you try to connect back to the nature, by the same mystic law of the law of cause and effect, it responds back to you, and that's why things will start changing in your life. There's no magic, there's no divine, there's no kind of any kind of godly things into this. It is a simple principle. A child cries, a small little baby cries that I am hungry. It doesn't say anything, it just cries. It doesn't even say I want a milk. It just cries, and mother knows that my child needs a milk, and then she feeds it. The same way, you need not to say I want this and that. You have to just cry. That communication is Namyo Rengekyo, and nature start pouring into you whatever is lacking, whatever lacking. But the idea is that why nature should do, because primarily it want to protect you, which has done all this while by creating you and creating the protected atmosphere, the sun, this earth, this gravity, the oxygen, everything is created for you to be protected. Then why don't, when you are suffering, when you are going through shortcomings and pain, won't it has its own duty automatically to help you come out of the solution? It is. Only thing is that you should be able to know that. And second most important part is, are you fulfilling your duty of human being for what you are created by helping others to achieve the similar happiness, helping them to come out of their suffering is how you can going to justify your own existence, what nature has created you for. So we all exist not as an individual but collectively. So that collective happiness is very important. So this practice, what we are trying to do is to achieve our individual happiness by creating the collective happiness. That is what is the purpose of this nature, purpose of this life. That is how the Namyo Rengekyo of this Lotus Sutra, Naturalist Buddhism, works for me, for many of my friends, my family, and hundreds and thousands of the people in this country, and many million people all over the world in 192 countries.
Can you please give us some concrete practical examples from your personal life that because of this practice of spiritual philosophy you changed and something positive happened to your life?
If I look back into my practice, when I came after finishing my engineering from a very top class institute, and then I wanted to become a filmmaker, and then I joined Film and Television Institute of India in Pune, one of the topmost institute in the world, in fact. And from there, then I went to assist and become associate director with Jalil Bansari in the first 2 films. And then I made another film of in Marathi, my own independent, where I got 27 awards and a couple of more. But this journey was very haphazard. That 10 to 12 years of my life during that period was very haphazard, very uncertain, very unsure. I was doing the things, but those things were not happening in the accordance with what I should do. I tried to do the bigger films. I was about to do the big films with a big star, but they never happened. I don't know what was the reason, but I just thought that I'm lacking those capacities, or the circumstances are not supporting me. But something was lacking in my life, which was not giving me 100% or whatever. I mean, even I say 50% of what I thought I deserved. And then that actually finally ended up into very, very bad times, logically, because nothing was improving in the positive. It will fall down, and it started falling down. No work, no money, and a lot of stress in life. And then in that lot of stress, I realized that I required something, some kind of philosophy, some kind of a spiritual help. And it did came in my rescue when I was in a very bad time, and I was introduced to this philosophy by one of my very close friend who was practicing for 2 years. So first I thought it is yet another philosophy, but when I look at him for what happened in the last 2 years with this person, I thought I found a concrete changes in him. He was a more confident man, and a lot of good things that happened in life. So I thought it might help me as well, and that is how I started practicing. And within few weeks only, I started to see the things changing in my life in terms of work wise. I started to get good offers to make a film, and in fact I made a animation film which became a big hit in those times. And then finances improved, my health improved, and my family life improved so much. And then I introduced my family, my friends, relatives, and their life also started improved. And if I compare my first 12 years in the industry, I made only 2 films and a lot of struggle, a lot of chaos, a lot of traumas in my life. But if I compare this 12 years of practice in this life, later 10 years which I practicing this philosophy, then I made 8 films in this 12 years, and I became to make more films. I make a bigger films, I make better films, and I could create a better atmosphere in my work life. I could introduce so many people to this practice, and we work more as a friend, as a human being, rather than the cutthroat competitors, or the rivalers. I tried to, while becoming a better filmmaker, all this while I become a more mature filmmaker, more effective filmmaker, and at the same time more better and effective human being also. Usually in film industry, one as progresses in life become more arrogant, more egoistic. This philosophy helped me not to become egoistic, not to become arrogant. In fact, with the more number of years, more success, or whatever status you acquire, it made me to become more humble, more connected with the last person in my unit, or last person in my surrounding, to connect with him as a human being. So this philosophy has helped me to explore those possibilities in my life which I thought doesn't exist, those capacities in my life which I never imagined or thought of. So this philosophy has opened all new doors in my life as a filmmaker, it opened a tremendous amount of opportunities upon which I not thought of, and at the same time it helped me to become a good person, a better person. It has set a goal in my life. It gave me clarity of my future. It gave me how to really plan your life and make the best of your life, best every moment, every day, every year. This is what has done, and I'm very sure that I'm going to make a bigger and better film, but at the same time I'm going to be even better person in my behavior, in my thoughts, in my actions. I am connecting many people in the industry on a different level altogether, not as a filmmaker but as a human being, and going to create that feeling of common goodness, the feeling of being a filmmaker. In this very cutthroat competitive world, I'm going to probably the emissary of how to create a win-win situation without being competitor, without being undermining each other's effort. How to really together we can create a better film industry, better a filmmaking world, and we should not hurt each other, and we can get it. There's a possibility. This win-win situation is what we are going to be competitive. We are going to be, but not a competitive in a rivalry way, in an animosity way. So that is what I have learned in 12 years, and I can't imagine my life without this philosophy. I mean, I'm dreaded if I had not followed this philosophy, I would have been whether successful or not. I think I would have been myself destroyed, either by the success or by the failure in this industry, what happened to many people in this industry, or I would have left this industry and have gone back to my engineering to be on the safer side. So with my all full conviction, my experience and my deepest of gratitude, I can say that this is the philosophy has evolved me as a filmmaker, as a human being, as a civilian, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, and any kind of a role that one can imagine. On every front, I have emerged victorious, happy, and hopeful. That is most important.
At the end, I would like to ask you, what message do you want to give to the viewers? Want to give to the public?
My message to all the budding filmmakers, actors, or anybody who's watching, and I believe that I'm talking particularly as a filmmaker to the filmmakers in any form, any way, because we are in the most uncertain field as compared to any other field. Other field may be having more secure jobs and life, but we are into a most uncertain and unsecured field. Whether you become successful or not, but the everything pressures are tremendous in this field, and the securities are least. So I would like to say that if you want to really become a good filmmaker, effective filmmaker, a good human being on the top of it, then try to understand this scientific philosophy, adopt it in your life, understand, adopt, and follow it. You will not ever be a failure in life. You will be always victorious, always hopeful. You will be happy, you will be a successful filmmaker, you will be successful human beings, and you as all of your roles as a husband, as a father, as a son, as a civilian and friend, all roles you will impeccably able to fulfill, and you will be able to achieve all your dreams which you have seen now, and with the dreams which are lost on this year of struggle, you can revive those dreams and you can relieve those dreams, you can achieve those dreams, and many treasures will open in your life which you not imagine or dreamt of them. That is the promise of this law, because you don't know what is embedded, what treasures embedded in life. Everybody has Buddha in him, everybody has tremendous infinite power in him. You have to just evoke it. Because we don't know how to evoke it, that's why we don't achieve what we want to achieve in life. So this philosophy will teach you how to evoke those infinite powers, unlimited power which exists in each one of you and me. Everybody around has the same power. Nobody can say that this man comes from this background or that background because less educated, more educated. He doesn't have that power. Everybody, only you should know the method, and this is the method. That is my humble request. Please explore this scientific philosophy in your life, and your life will be changed forever, permanently. Thank you so much. Namme horenge kyo, namme horenge kyo, namme horenge kyo.
Namme horenge kyo, namme horenge kyo, namme horenge kyo.
Thank you very much, sir. It's really nice talking to you. In the next episode, Milind Ukey sir will talk about GPS of spirituality. Till then, bye, take care, see you.